Hi, Judy. Thank you for taking some time to speak with us today.
Oh, thanks, Stephanie. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Pretty well.
Great. So, if you could just give us a little bit of background, what you do, and then what led you to discovering Dr. Wu.
Sure. So I'm a business owner, a small business owner. I have a digital marketing agency here in Carlsbad, California. And initially, I met Dr. Wu because I had a pre-diabetic situation and I did not want to go on pills. My primary doctor wanted to put me on metformin. I didn't want to do that. And I was looking for more naturalistic, holistic options. So I Googled Chinese medicine pretty much anywhere in the country. I just wanted to get fixed essentially. And I saw that Dr. Wu's business for the Fangyun TCM showed up in Connecticut. And I called and booked an appointment, did a remote consultation, and I had to basically take a photo of my tongue, front and back, and I met him on a Zoom call, and I was a patient of his, and he told me essentially that I had a spleen energy deficiency. So it was amazing that he was able to spot out the situation very quickly in a few seconds just by looking at my tongue and the back of my tongue.
Mhm.
And I was prescribed an herbal formula of a tea that I had to drink twice a day. And it's probably got 25 Chinese herbs in there. So it's not just a normal tea that people think it is. It is actually medicinal. And so I took that, and I was also prescribed with Tuina, which is an acupressure massage therapy where there are certain points that are being pushed to kind of move this the chi circulation, the oxygen and nutrients and blood circulation. So I probably did over 20 sessions of Tuina, and I've noticed a huge shift out of my body. I think the first two times I came back and I just felt so good, like you took a hot bath and everything was coming out of my body. I feel like toxins and poisons or whatever it was being accumulated. And I felt like I lost 10 pounds. I didn't actually lose 10 pounds, but it just felt like a lot lighter at the time. And then I did mugwort baths. So that's another, mugwort is again another herb, and it's natural, and he gives you instructions on how to do that. So I did mugwort baths as well. I got off dairy, and especially cheese. I didn't eat cheese for a good, I want to say 8 months now. And I just saw things started changing. And yeah, so I started as a patient, and then a year later, he calls me and wants to hire me in marketing.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, I think you had mentioned, did you seek out Western medicine first before contacting Dr. Wu?
Yeah, so I mean, I just went to my primary doctor, and he just told me to lose some pounds and maybe get off processed foods. And I mean, I was already pretty athletic. I was playing tennis and pickleball, so I couldn't understand what was going on in my body because I'm not overweight really at all. It was kind of really odd to think what was happening in my body. I thought it was genetics maybe. And then I realized it was my stress level. I think being a business owner of a marketing agency was constantly high stress for me for not just a few years, has been going on for quite some time. We're talking
Mhm.
about at least a decade. And, I started learning that things change in your body as far as the chemistry based on emotions as well. And Dr. Wu talks a lot about that, as your emotions create certain chemistry in your body and the stress. And yeah, so I changed my lifestyle. I made certain adjustments. I just made these little tiny adjustments. I got off processed foods. I didn't eat carbs as much. I didn't eat any cheese. I was trying to get off eggs. I started doing qigong and tai chi, and I was on these herbs. So these little adjustments started improving my life, and my energy level started coming back. And I actually lost 5 pounds without even really trying, and I did intermittent fasting.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you definitely saw differences between Western medicine's approach and then Dr. Wu's Eastern medicine approach.
Yeah, I just didn't want to be on pills. The first thing that they wanted to do was put me on metformin. I mean, I had a really cool primary doctor. He was very understanding. He said, change your lifestyle, do this, like get off processed foods, maybe drop a few pounds and de-stress. Stress management seems to be a key for me. And but then he did kind of give me a certain, not an ultimatum, but a certain point of time. If you didn't improve in 3 6 months, we were going to put you on metformin. And I haven't even taken aspirin since I was 15. So I eat pretty organically, holistically, and I've never been on any prescriptions.
Right. Wow. So
Yeah.
what were your first impressions of Dr. Wu?
Well, as a patient, I
Mhm.
thought he was, I had just met him on Zoom, so it was more like I was curious about how he thinks and how he approached medicine. It was more of an intrigue that he was able to assess things so quickly, and it was like boom, boom, boom. And he did not seem very alarmed, was it A1C or AC1, the blood level. And he said that, it's pretty common that the standards of your blood sugar changes according to the medical system. And he just didn't seem alarmed at all. He's like, he said, you seem like 90% pretty healthy, maybe just work on these specific items, and that was it. So that was my general impression. I was intrigued by him. I couldn't pinpoint specifically what. I just wanted to learn from him, and I was kind of drawn to him in that way. And then as a professional marketing person, working with him and his people and his patient, I just have utmost respect for him. And I learned so much that I would not have with other clients, because this is the health industry and it's in holistic healing, it's in Taoist Chinese medicine. And I saw that he was very genuine and he's true to what he says. I think, some doctors or other people, they say one thing, do the other, but he was so consistent with everything that he did and do, and who he is. And I know that he is definitely a person of integrity, and he has a kind heart. He has helped numerous people. I've already pretty much, I've witnessed it firsthand. And two, I've interviewed all these people, probably about at least 20 patients, and pretty much each one was recovered 100% by going to see him. So I saw how authentic, how real, how kind. He's a man of true service. This is his purpose in life. And I trust him fully with my health. So yeah, it's been quite an honor. And now I've decided to become a TCM practitioner next year.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go get trained. I mean, I'm still gonna do my work in marketing, but it has shown me so much that I feel like I need to do this. And so I will start my training next year.
That's awesome. Oh, wow. So,
Yeah.
as a practitioner, then, why do you think people are still hesitant? The people who I've spoken with, they just want to stick with the Western medicine. They're very hesitant about Eastern medicine. What would you say to someone who like that, since you've had all these positive experiences?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people just don't know that there are other options. I mean, I think if this is all you know and this is the world that you're around, if these are the people that you're around and you're not looking outside of your little bubble, how will you know about TCM? and it's pretty commonplace to think, well, when you're sick and ill, the first person you're going to call is your primary, right? And book an
Yeah.
appointment there. So I think one is you're just not exposed to other options, and TCM Taoist Chinese medicine is another option that the mainstream don't know about because the media doesn't advertise about it. They don't speak about it. They don't want you to know about it because, there's a big business happening in pharmaceuticals and the Western medicine. And TCM seeks to resolve the issue on the spot. They talk about this all the time about root cause. They seek to resolve the root cause. Whereas I think Western medicine tends to put you on a treadmill, and it is got different intentions.
I've heard that from other patients I've spoken with, that
Yeah,
they almost feel like Western medicine, oh, it's not that they try to keep you sick,
right.
but it is a business, whereas Eastern medicine looks at what's causing you to feel this way, and they start there. So did you find any certain treatments that you would really recommend that you've done with Eastern medicine and with Dr. Wu that you'd recommend?
Yeah, so I mean, I pretty much have done all of it. I mean, I did the Tuina, the acupressure massage therapy. I've done the fire cupping, the gua sha. I did take that herbal formula and the mugwort bath. I think Tuina, for me personally, was exceptional just because I could feel the results pretty much immediately. Like when they
Oh,
press
wow.
on a C1 point, the wind line point, your 21s, 20s. I mean, all these different points, it's like I don't know if it's normal for other people, but for me, I feel heated up. Like after I'm done, I feel like a lot of heat going on. And I don't know if it's because
Really?
it's opening up like the blockages of the chi, but I also feel lighter. Like I feel like definitely blood circulation is happening. I don't feel as stressed or heavy. And I just know it works. And I've had elimination of toxins out of my body. So it's worked for me. And I love Tuina. I mean, if you look at the comparison of something that's not invasive, I think Western medicine tends to be a little invasive with their tests, and I like non-invasive, and I like treatments that are holistic. If you look at the herbs and the Tuina, I mean, all of this kind of work is from what 2,500, 5,000 years ago in ancient China. So it's worked. It's proven to work for all these thousands of years. And then if you look at the cost size, right, the cost side of it, you're spending thousands of dollars in surgeries or prescriptions, whatever, and then you're spending like $460 for getting herbs and a couple other things. I mean, just the disparity on the costs alone. I mean, it was in that movie, Who Am I, where some lady, I think she spent insane, like over 25, 35 grand on all this multiple Western medicine treatments. And she goes to Dr. Wu, and I think she said she spent like $460 and was like resolved. I mean, this is a part where I think, we don't discuss too much about is the profit side of it as well. Western medicine tends to, they, they don't want you to die, but they keep you alive enough to make the treadmill of dependency. And that's what I see. I also, I'm not totally against Western medicine because I do believe there's some things that are really great. Like if it was an issue where I had to go, if my arm breaks or something like that, you need surgery or something immediate. I think that's awesome for the urgent needs. But for longevity and for sustainability wise, I will definitely head towards the TCM side of it. I'm already living that lifestyle now at this point. Thanks to Dr. Wu and his practitioners and the patients. I've learned so much from all of them that I became very drawn personally, not just professionally.
So are those the major differences that you probably see between Eastern and Western medicine, is the fact that Eastern medicine it's almost more of a healthier lifestyle.
Yes. Yeah. And there's a spiritual component TCM, because Taoism is a lifestyle. It's the belief of, they call it Wu Wei. It's the effortlessness of everything that you do. There's no strain or pressure. It's accepting the cycle of nature. I think in Taoism, they talk about, for as an example, the aging process. I think in the American culture, we're always trying to look young. We're trying to do Botox. We're doing everything we can to stop aging, right? But the Taoist thinking is, this is the natural cycle. Your body is going to have certain, changes. You are going to have droopy faces, whatever it is, and that's a natural process of life and the cycle of nature. And I think that if you start understanding who you are and accepting the spiritual component of life, it changes the way you live. Like, if they talk about this in the film a lot, and Dr. Wu talks a lot about this, is if you know who you are as a person, and let's say if you're constantly sitting 70 hours a week, sitting in front of your computer, and you're eating junk food, processed foods, you're not getting, sunshine and vitamin D and exercising, of course of course your health is going to decline, because you're not doing anything, there's no movement in your life. But the whole concept of who am I is knowing yourself. If you know that you're going to sit there for 70 hours, you want to make some changes, knowing that if you're stressed, you're going to eat more, or you're not going to exercise, or whatever it is. You got to know your boundaries, and you got to know what works in your body, and so I love the spiritual component. I think mostly is, when you take the time to work on your inner self, and you meditate, you do the qigong, you understand the life force is the essence of what keeps you going, it changes the way you live, because your priorities shift.
Yeah.
And you start eating well, and you start, making time to exercise, or take a walk, or do qigong. And if you don't have enough qi, then you die. I mean, the essence of your self is life force, is the essence. And this is why, people have different ailments, is because they're lacking the chi. There's a deficiency going on.
And I think people don't, they think of the immediate of Western medicine, an immediate fix, not a lifestyle that you take with you down the road. What
Right.
would you say to someone maybe who's, just not feeling good, or they're dealing with, whether it's pain or diabetes, or something, and what advice would you give to them of where they could start with Dr. Wu? What would be their first steps that you would recommend?
Well, I think it's, you can still see your Western medicine doctors, I mean, we all have free choice. I would recommend that, in addition, go ahead and book a call and a consult with him, like a remote consultation if you don't live in Connecticut, and just kind of learn from him, tell him your situation, what your health condition is, and see what he offers. If you're open to it, you could try a few of the treatments and compare. Like, if you want to do it really scientifically, do kind of an A/B comparison test and see what works for you and your body and your mind and your spirit. If you start doing Tuina and you feel better, why do you need to go on anxiety pills? I'm just giving an example, as, be open to trying it out, and then comparing your body, and take a look at the results. Then it will tell you whether to stay on your prescription, or whatever treatment that you're doing on Western medicine side. If something else is working more naturally for you and it feels better. I mean, sometimes tests, I've interviewed patients where they've done scans and multiple tests, and the tests are not completely error-free. I mean, this one patient that I interviewed before, she was saying that she just did not feel well at all. And she was diagnosed with a chi collapse, but then her Western medicine doctors kept wanting to send her to do more exams and MRIs. And it's like, she's already telling them, I don't feel well, and they can't seem to find the source or the root cause. But then she goes to Dr. Wu and he spots out the chi collapse immediately. You
Wow.
know, I mean, if they didn't fix that, she could have gone into a coma.
Mhm.
You
Oh
know,
my
you
God.
see where I'm saying? Like this is stuff that most people don't realize the extent of influence and impact it has on your body when you go the right direction and not.
Right. Right. And people, like you said, they just don't think they are kind of stuck in that one place of going to Western medicine. They just don't think of any alternatives. Um, do you do you have any words of thanks or, grateful to Dr. Wu on how you're feeling today?
Yeah, I'm deeply grateful for him. I mean, I feel like he's been such an enormous teacher outside of working with him. Is I've learned so much from him in his TCM practice, him as a person. He is almost like a mentor for me, a spiritual mentor. I've utmost respect for him. And I know a lot of people also speak very highly of him as well. And because of what I've learned from him and his spiritual perspective on life, living, slowing down, don't get caught up in the hustle culture, which I am because I'm in California and I do all this work and all this multiple stuff. I've learned so much that I wanted to become a TCM practitioner. I never thought that idea would enter my mind. So thank you, Dr. Wu.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with us today. Good luck now that you're moving from the patient side to the practitioner side. That's really exciting.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye bye.